All right, Cooley, go ahead and take it away.
Hey, good morning, everyone. My test, just making sure it's loud and clear for everyone.
Loud and clear.
Okay, thank you. So, welcome back again. We have 10 minutes left, so I'm gonna, do my best to,
Uh,
make sure
te-
everybody's online to lunch.
Technically, I think this goes until 12:15.
It's okay. I'll keep it at 12. No worries. So, welcome to the Program Year 2024 American New York Program Development Training. We're gonna have 10 quick slideshows about member year service. Just kind of go over the concept of MSY and member slot conversions, which happens pretty frequent, and it's perfectly okay to do so. So, there's no stress in requesting a slot conversion with us. It's pretty common practice. Last year we did some changes and kind of went out pretty decently in my opinions, because when I administer with my programs, usually it's pretty straightforward process. Don't have anything crazy happens last year since it changed. So explaining the concept of the MSY. So what is a member service year, MSY? When you apply for a miracle grant, you request an approval for a specific number of MSYs. It is one MSY is equal to one full-time members positions. Some people might kind of get it mixed up with, it is a similar concept as a full-time equivalent, for people kind of in the workforce. Uh, but while it is the same time as a full-time equivalence, but it is a different concept and sometimes get confused as the full-time capacities. Working 40 hours a week, 37 and a half hours a week. That is a full-time capacity. Full-time capacity is a different concept than full-time member positions, full-time equivalents. Just want to label that those two differences. Kind of go over a little bit as well. So. Um, and when you request a submit a proposal that includes how many MSY and slot that you're going to request, including your applications, and there are 7 types of different slot configuration that a program can apply to nowadays. Full time, which is 1,700 hours. Three-quarter time, which is 1,200 hours. Half time is 900 hours, and reduced half time is 675 hours. Quarter time is 450 hours. Minimum time is 300 hours. Abbreviated time is 100 hours. Now, and because the minimum hours for each slot type is different, so the MSY equivalency is also different. And we have a little chart here. And if you forgot about the numbers, it is available in eGrants, or just shoot an email to your program administrator. We'd be happy to help you. The digit actually, I do believe, go up to 7 digits after the decimal. So yes, this is a round up number or round down number. So yeah, when we actually do it, we do have to look at like a whole 7 digit after the decimal. So um, double check with us, just kind of let us know quickly, when you do a slot conversion and if you're not certain, can I do, 3/4 times into one full time? The quick answer is yes, but, we can kind of go a little more in depth about it when you want to actually request slot conversions. Um, okay. And I do believe there is a question.
But I reposted Allison's question,
Uh,
conversion question from
mhm.
during Megan's or Jim's.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
so
Yeah,
I think you cover it, but I want to
gotcha.
have it present just in case you.
Okay, I thought I had that question as well. So let me go over the definition of the MSY, then we're gonna go over the process of doing that. So I'll answer the questions on the later point in time. But just remind me if I forgot. Yeah, so once again, a non-full-time member can also serving in a full-time capacities. For example, a minimum member could be doing service 40 hours a week in a summer service program. So full-time capacity is a different concept than full-time equivalence, which most programs consider, use the concept of full-time equivalent when they, think about MSY. So just kind of make sure that there is a difference on that. So, next question is, so why do we need to do a slot conversions? Now, sometimes when you do a slot conversions, because you start a program with a full-time, you post your, looking for your service opportunity posting with a full-time member. Let's say a couple of months pass by and there is a candidate interested in serving in your program. However, at that point in time, it is no longer possible to do 1,700 hours. In that case, you want to, split up the 1,700 hours and, or maybe offer the member a 900 hours member positions. which is half-time positions, if your program structure can accommodate, half-time positions. Not all program can do that. For example, some of the education program, they serve for the whole, 2 semester in school. They might have the option to join midway, but some programs might not have the option to join midway. It kind of depends on your program structure, whether a slot is able to be converted and make to a smaller slot type and be enrolled in a different timings. Some programs have continuous enrollment, some programs just have a set enrollment day, and that is a deadline that it kind of you have to kind of think about what works best for your program. But if your program has the luxury to able to convert the slots, by all means, slot conversions is a useful tool to allow continuous enrollments throughout the program year. You just kind of have to figure out from the point of enrollment to the end date, what is the more realistic slot term that the program can finish, hours. So now with the MSY and doing slot conversion, so when you submit when you want to do a slot conversion, there are a couple scenarios that you can process an e-grant without approval from us. Approval, it's not, just sending us the form and then we'll write it, we'll sign our signature. And the form is gonna go over in later slides, is on the web page. But if it is less than 10%, so for example, if your program has 10 MSY and you are converting 1 MSY into 2, half time, you can just simply process it in eGrant and just shoot us an email. Just kind of keep us posted. We're not going to say no to it, but just let us know that I'm processing this slot conversions, and then we'll let you know. Okay, thank you for letting us know, and then we can keep an eye just in case if there's anything happens. However, but let's say if your program has 10 MSY and then you're converting 2 full-time MSY into 4 half-time MSY, then please go that does require commission approval, so please follow the process that we're going to go over in two slides from here. So 10% is the kind of break point whether you need approval or not. And slot conversion is usually pretty simple. I mean, I assume if the program administrator is able to kind of catch on to the email, usually just take a few hours maybe, if they're able to kind of get to the emails. Sometimes if they're out of office, that might take a little bit longer, but but if it is less than percent, go ahead and then just shoot us an email. Hopefully that answer Allison's questions in that case. So when when we go over when the changes and just want to clarify, the changes accumulated throughout the single program year. So within a single program year, if I did 1 MSY, if I have 10 MSY and I did 1 MSY, I don't need approval for that. However, if I need to convert a second 1 MSY slot, then I want to reach out to my program administrator to just kind of keep them posted, for example. But like I said, on where I don't recall scenarios we ever say no to it. As long as program has the justification that it is needed. But some more or less just kind of keep us posted so we can do a better job in knowing our program at the same time. And now once you go over 10%, we do need to we do ask you to submit a form. That form, it is currently on our webpage. It is in the program management resources. There is a slot conversion tab. So very basic, just gonna ask for program name, date, contract number, contact persons, what is the current allocations of each slot type, what is it changing to, and then what is the justifications. We will, and then we'll look at it. We'll double check in eGrant, make sure that the slot conversion is approvable. They in the eGrants they also have their parameters. It cannot be the new conversion cannot be higher in MSY. It cannot be more than 0.2 less than what was from the original MSY numbers. So which means sometimes we do need to create a couple placeholder for it to go through. So that is usually where we come in place to troubleshoot and help you troubleshoot. If sometimes you grants kind of hold it up and doesn't let you do it, and then we'll help you troubleshoot. So any questions?
Does anyone have any questions about slot conversions? Wow, you were right under the 12 o'clock deadline there, Cooley. Or well, self-imposed, but Allison, does that answer your question about slot conversions? You asked how quickly can we expect slot conversions to be approved by the commission? And can we as grantees just go ahead and make the slot conversion into e-grants? Cooley covered that. Did you have any further questions about that, or if it's what is it, Cooley? If it's less than 10%
Mhm.
of the MSY,
Yeah.
then the program can go ahead and do the changes in e-grants. But if it's more than 10%, then there's a form to fill out and
Yep.
there's a process.
That is
Okay.
correct. 10% is the threshold.
Okay.
Guys, if I could just jump in kind of quickly on that point,
Certainly.
just
Yeah.
just as a heads up, that in AmeriCorps guidance, you're not allowed to do a slot conversion at the end of the year just to get someone their education award. So if someone's short of their hours, say they signed up for a full-time term, but they're not quite at the number, you can't convert them down just to get them the education award. So I would certainly say, like, at the end of a program year, or towards the end, definitely contact your program administrator just to make sure that that's all allowable, because that might receive some scrutiny if you're doing slot conversions at the end of a year. In that situation, just another point on that, just in that situation, probably what's better is to offer the member, assuming this exists, to offer them compelling personal circumstances, exit them, with CPC from their term, and then they'd get a partial education award rather than, converting their slot to a lesser slot type.
Does anyone have any questions? Oh,
Um,
Molly has.
We have a question from the chat. Can you switch a member slot at all? Well, the member switching slot should only happen in the scenarios that it was enrolled by human error. So let's say if a member has all the contract, because when you offer a member contract, there should be a very explicit what the member slot type is on the member contract. So if you switch a member, slot type, the entire contract is kind of, it becomes an issue at that point. So unless saying the member was given a contract to do a half-time member slot, but you accidentally enroll in full-time just by human error, you can update it and change it, but usually that should be caught pretty early in the program cycle. Hopefully the earlier the better, but nobody should be changing a member slot type like the last month of their term's about to end, because it just doesn't make sense at that point, because a member has been serving under the terms and conditions listed in the contract for, let's say, 9 months, and then in the last month everything's changed. It's not going to hold up good in an audit. So member slot can change, but usually with very limited reasons. A member can change a slot type, very limited.
Does anyone have any other questions for Cooley or anyone else for regarding slot conversions or?
Cooley, I was wondering, did you mention the guidance on changing less than full-time members to full-time during a service term?
Yeah, I mean, there was one kind of older FAQ about the converting switching a member from less than full-time to a full-time issue. It is also very rarely happens. And when it happens, it should happen very early in the program year. And the complication is that less than a full-time member, you are not required by the AmeriCorps regulations to provide them with health insurance. So if you kind of switch it up to full-times, which they're eligible for and a health insurance to be offered at least, and childcare benefits at that point. So it almost created scenarios that a member was ineligible for benefits for a certain amount of the term and then suddenly become eligible. So it also creates a lot of auditing questions in that scenario. So the switching from less than full-time to a full-time should really happens like maybe week 1 or 2 on their term, like kind of similar as the last one. If they got enrolled in a less than full-time by accidents, by all means, we understand human errors, we can fix it. But if a member served like 5 months in and then switch to full-time, then the complication there's just a lot of complication to it to address at that point.
Thanks.
Did anyone have any other questions? Does anyone have any questions about financial management or contract requirements in addition to MSY and slot conversions? Anyone have any questions at all? I don't see any hands raised. You can feel free to unmute yourself if you'd like. I don't see anything in the chat. Going once, twice. All right. Excellent. Good job, Cooley. Thank you very much. Good job, Jim and Megan as well. So, if anyone does have any questions, you know where to reach us. Let me go ahead and throw my email in the chat.
Back next Tuesday, right, Eric?
Absolutely. Anthony's up next. Last but not least. So, Anthony's going to be covering performance measures, and I can't remember what the other topics were off the top of my head.
Evaluations, I think.
Evaluations. Yep. So we'll be wrapping up. Eventually we'll have a handbook. I'm going to follow up with Jim, Megan, and Cooley to make sure there's nothing that we need to fine tune with the slides. And then I'll be sending the recordings and the slides out and hopefully before the end of the day. And if anyone has any questions, my email's in the chat. I wish everyone a great day. Thank you very much for joining us. We'll see you next week, 10 o'clock, September 3rd.
Thanks, everyone.
You're
Take care.
nicely done.
Thank you.